What's up, everybody? We are back at Around the Mat. I am your host, PJ North. It is another week, and it is a busy week in professional wrestling. But before we get into it, if you're watching live on Twitch, thank y'all for joining. We appreciate y'all checking out the stream. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Help me out. Hit those subscribers. Comment if you can. If you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, thank you for checking us out. Leave a review, share with your friends, do all that good stuff, man. Let us know what your favorite parts are, if you hate it, all that good stuff. So thank you guys, man. We are at Around the Mat Pod on all socials, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, everywhere you can find us at Around the Mat Pod. A lot to talk about this week, and one thing I didn't do last week, I didn't talk about the t-shirt, man. I think this is a Matt Botfin special, the Paul Heyman from WrestleMania weekend just a few short weeks ago. So we're going to get into it. This week we are hanging out with one of my dear friends. As always, it is the Ticket God Freddie Fresh, back in full effect. Fred, what's the good word, baby?
What's happening? Glad to be here again. Glad to talk wrestling. Big week coming up. Big weekend coming up. Not only Memorial Day weekend in the States, but a big wrestling weekend, of course.
Heck yeah, man. It's gonna be kind of crazy. I'm super excited for all things happening. We were supposed to have a special. We were gonna have a Mark Side of the Ring gathering, but we have two terrible friends, Nick and Miguel. So they can both suck it. But it is what it is. We're going to talk a little wrestling.
Last man standing.
That's right. But all things are well. Yeah, man. Anything new and exciting for you this weekend? I know it's Memorial Day weekend. You're gonna hang out with Miguel and the crew.
Yeah. We're gonna go out Saturday night down at Asbury Park and have a time for sure. Maybe a barbecue on Sunday. I may be going to. So got a fun weekend lined up. Ready to do some drinking, some hanging out.
I love that. Well, I can't.
And watching wrestling, too.
That's really what I want to do. Get the whole gang together to watch wrestling. With that being said, man, this week I thought I'd mix it up a little bit, man. There's always a lot of things that are going on outside, and rather than just specific topics, we're going to do a rapid-fire headlines section here. And we're going to start off with, of course, the brand new news today. SummerSlam moving to 2 days. In 2026, which caught us all off guard. But what are your thoughts on SummerSlam moving to 2 days, man? That's as a traditionalist. What's your thoughts?
So as a traditionalist, I don't love it.
Sure.
I didn't love when WrestleMania went to 2 nights. I like WrestleMania 2 nights now.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. And like SummerSlam is one of my favorite pay-per-views, especially because it was always around my birthday, so it was always special to me, and I always love the summer, whatever. And it is the second biggest show of the year. Not that it's not warranted. I just don't know. Like, I feel like that if they're going to do a 2-night thing, it should be saved for just WrestleMania. Like, they make all these pay-per-views now such a big deal, which is great. I love it. They do stadiums, all that. But, like, the 2-night, like, WrestleMania started to lose a little bit of what made it special because they did it multiple times a year, stadium shows and all. With the 2 nights, though, that's what made besides it being WrestleMania, that's what made WrestleMania still feel different. To me, was like that was the only one that was 2 nights.
I agree.
Now we'll do 2 nights SummerSlam. Next thing you know, it's gonna be 2-night Royal Rumble, fucking 2-night Survivor Series. 2-night, everything's gonna be 2 nights.
I always think that
WrestleMania's gonna be a week.
SummerSlam's far enough away from it that it gives you that, and I'm okay with the 2-night thing right now to try it out. Here's the thing, man: as hot as it is right now. How can you know what I'm saying? Like, is there a way to go back? It's hard right now. They're trying to take advantage. But 2 years down the road, is it going to be this hot? Like, you're talking about wrestling is a cyclical business.
We talked about this last week,
right? 1,000%. Yeah,
right. Yeah, exactly. And it's funny when I first read the thing this morning, I'm thinking next year, and then I'm like, wait a minute, 2026 is not next year. That's 2 years from now,
right? Which
so
is
that
even
was also
crazy.
bizarre.
That's a huge flex. I mean, that's a flex. They're like,
it is.
We can do this 2 years out. That's crazy to me.
It's badass. And I'm excited for Minnesota. I was like the only one in our group that was.
No, I think it's going to be fine. I would be okay with WrestleMania there because the stadium's brand new. And there's a lot of stuff in Minneapolis that's like, like I said, there's just like infrastructure wise, I haven't been there, but I do know there's a lot of cool stuff there. So I agree. I think
I want to go to Mall of America. I want to get some coffee, get some.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. So I thought that was cool. Yeah, man, a little SummerSlam. Everybody's posting about it today, right? Every news outlet was like, "Oh, I'm like, none of y'all. Triple H told y'all. Why don't y'all shut up?" You know what I mean?
No, it'll be fun. It'll be cool. Minnesota will be fun. And we got 2 years. We don't even know where next year's SummerSlam is going to be, and that's the other thing.
Sure.
Will next year's SummerSlam be 2 nights, or will that kick off in 2026? You know what I mean?
Sure. I agree. All right. Next headline. It is Owen Hart's unfortunate accident years ago, 25 years to the day. Pretty crazy. So I thought we'd take a minute to remember Owen Hart, man. I loved Owen Hart's entrance music as a kid. I thought it was so cool. It had that like keyboard intro into the da-na-na-na, da-na. It's so banging, man. And when they were high energy with him and Neidhart and then Neidhart and Coke, I just thought that like that was kind of a cool thing. I really enjoyed that. Those figures as well. Yeah, sad, man. Pretty crazy. Owen Hart gone too soon, as most. And I think the AEW thing is cool to keep him alive with the Memorial Tournament and all that stuff. To keep that around and doing things. I do wish he would go back. I wish that now that Vince is gone, that we can move past the Martha and Owen thing. And I do, he belongs in the Hall of Fame. No one did more with worse gimmicks at that point, right? Because he had as the Black Heart, awesome. The Blue Blazers, a shit gimmick. The Enough is Enough and It's Time for a Change was a shit gimmick. That gear was terrible. But he was like just such an amazing worker, and all the stories you hear you never hear a bad thing about Owen, right? It's always like super positive. So
yeah, it's always nobody has a bad word to say about him.
Yeah, do you have any? I mean, I guess at that point you were getting into wrestling at that point, but do you have any memories of Owen?
So yeah, I mean, so it's actually funny, like you were saying how the Enough is Enough and Time for a Change, a terrible gimmick, and the outfit and all that, and it was, but that's kind of the Owen Hart that I knew because I got into wrestling, like I said, in the fall of '98, so I had missed like Owen's real run, like any run he had, I missed kind of like by the time I got into it, he was just getting out of the Nation, or he actually kind of was probably out of the Nation by that point, and then what I majorly remember is him and Jeff Jarrett tagging. That's like the thing, when I always remember. But I mean, I knew enough of Owen Hart, and I had known him, for months at that point now. So I remember watching the pay-per-view live at a buddy's house. There was a whole group of us, and I was 10. And
so you also watched live too?
I watched it live, and I just remember being like, I don't think really processing exactly what had happened, but just remember like this just weird feeling, like it was just a very odd, like I think if it happened today, it would have been maybe more profound, but I remember it was obviously very profound, but
as a kid though, right? I mean, you're talking about it's pretty crazy.
It's crazy, and when you think about how young he really was,
right?
It's so sad, and I can't believe it's 25 years ago either.
I know. That's the craziest thing about it is that, man, it's just how time continues on, and time never really stops. Pretty crazy.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
But sad. Glad that, like you said, AEW at least honors him. I mean, WWE would if they could.
Maybe, and I think that's the thing, man. I would hope that Martha and team can get over that at some point. Now that Vince is gone, and I think that she held definitely a grudge against those folks. Just with a different regime. Maybe we'll see something. He just deserves he deserves legend figures, elites, and to be in video games. Yeah,
they had a run, right?
You got to think the whole DX versus the Nation thing. I mean, that was a big deal.
Off at a Mania.
Exactly.
Mania was Triple H and Owen. So, I know he's
such a profound impact on a lot of things, right? His impact in wrestling, pretty crazy. Knows no bounds, but. Here's the thing. That was it, like I said, 25 years, pretty crazy. All right, next, last headline here is pretty. I don't know if you've heard this one, but it's been kind of all over the internet today. It's Sting, but it's his son. His son is training to be a pro wrestler, former Division I athlete. Obviously looked the part at the pay-per-view, which is at Revolution, which is crazy. So we're gonna get another Stinger. Do you have any? Let me give my opinion first. I think it's cool. I love legacy wrestlers. The question is, does he love it like as much as as his dad did, right? I mean, his dad was such a legacy act. You really can't. It's the he's really the first one that is the Jordan-esque thing, right? Where it's like Jordan's kid, Jeffrey, who played at Illinois and then played at UCF and tried to make it. It's hard to be Jordan's kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is that first one where it's Jordan's kid next to Ric Flair's, right? Obviously Charlotte, but I feel like that's a hard comparison. But from a male perspective, this is really the first legacy act like that. Or Cody, I guess Cody maybe too, because Dusty was such a big deal. But maybe of our generation, let me put it that way. So maybe the first of our generation,
sure.
in that perspective. Obviously not the first legacy guy. There's been a million, and they're all great. Orton, Rhodes, everybody. But from my generation, of someone we grew up on, right, watching Sting and all that stuff, is kind of cool to see that part of it. Do you have any opinions on Steve's kid?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I love second generation superstars. I mean, yes, they could be hit or miss, right? Like you're just saying, sometimes more miss than hits. But when they hit, they can hit big, right?
Yeah.
So, and
there's two ways to go about it, right? They get to be either Garrett Bischoff or they get to be Cody Rhodes.
Right? It's one or the other, right? There's no in between. There's no gray area. It's black and white. But when he performed at Revolution, well, both of the kids actually,
yeah,
I was impressed.
Agreed.
With it. And I remember thinking to myself, why the hell aren't either one of them wrestling?
Yeah,
and now the one is, and it's the one that did the Wolfpack's thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, he did the Sting, the big splash and everything. It was really cool. He looks the part. I mean, he looked.
Oh, he looked.
Like I said, he's a Division I former football player, right? I think at NC State or something like that. Or
he should have been in NXT 5 years ago.
They should have already been trying to pluck him for first Mania tryout. What are we doing?
But no, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it's funny. Like being a second generation is hard. And as big as say Rocky Johnson was, and as big as Bob Orton was, those guys, it was hard for Rock and Orton to fulfill that position, but Sting is no pun intended, an icon. Rocky Johnson wasn't. He was a star, but he wasn't an icon.
It was right. It's a different. That's the thing, and I think
Flair, yes, but I think a lot of it too has to do with that she's a girl. I think that helps.
That's what I'm saying. Right? I do think that's a different comparison, right?
Look at David Flair. That didn't work out.
I think that's the thing, right? Is that Charlotte was the first of her generation to do that to do a little different thing, right? And females were that the women's revolution was happening at that point too. So I guess it's probably premature for me to say not premature, but incorrect for me to say he's the first of it, but it feels like the first of our generation now having a kid that's going to wrestle, right? Of course, we watched Ric Flair, but I didn't watch Ric Flair in the 80s. I watched all of Ric Flair's stuff after the fact. I watched Sting from almost debut,
so
you know what I mean? So it's a little different, but very interesting to find out, I guess.
I think it'll be cool. I hope it works out for him, I hope he makes something of himself.
Yeah, it's agreed. All right, well, we made it through the headlines today. Let me give us a little bit more time for the next one here. It is King and Queen of the Ring Pick'em. Man, this weekend is Riyadh. They are in full effect. Right there in Riyadh or Jeddah? I always forget again. Are they in Jeddah? Jeddah. Okay, well, they're in Jeddah.
The other
side. Yeah, the other side.
There's only two that I know of, Jeddah and Riyadh.
Right. I feel bad. Man, Pick'em. So we're going to go down through the matches. You give your opinion. We could talk a little bit about each one, but we'll start with women's world title match: Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. Who you picking?
I think Becky keeps it. I don't think they're taking it off of her yet.
Sure.
She just won it. I mean, yes,
man,
I know she
I thought the same thing, but I actually went with Liv to try to.
Did you go with Liv?
I went with Liv, and the only reason I did is because I just don't see where she would go from. If she loses again, what's the point? Send her back to NXT. If she loses again, she doesnn't have to be I think Becky can go away now for a while. Liv can win and Becky can go away.
She was supposed to.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So we don't, you know what I'm saying? At this point, and you're getting Queen of the Ring who's going to get a challenge at SummerSlam, so you already built the next person in. I just don't see why, in my opinion, why we need to have again. And I'm over the Becky Lynch thing, right? I'm kind of bored with it. So, that's one of those things.
I won't be mad if Liv wins. I want Liv. personally, I want Liv to win. I'm loving this Liv Revenge tour.
Agreed.
That she's doing, right?
Sure.
But yeah, I don't. If it doesn't happen Saturday, then I don't know when, right? Because how does she just get another man unless they do some kind of
I know.
finish?
I know.
But she's the heel, right? So that's kind of
That's what I'm saying. I agree. It's kind of a weird thing, and I'm excited to see what they do. I think this obviously this pick'em's a lot harder for the group.
But I think Liv. I don't know when Rhea's coming back, but I think Liv needs to be the champion when Rhea comes back.
That's kind of my point, right? Is that I think we need that part of it as well. So all right, good one there. Next. How about Intercontinental Champions Sami Zayn, Bronson Reed, and Chad Gable? Monday really turned everything for me. I thought I do think Sami wins still. But, man, Monday, that Chad Gable now thing, and then the whole tease with the Creed brothers. Look, I couldn't be more of a Team Angle fan. I love it. I have the team. I have World's Greatest Tag Team collectible set. I am a Team Angle guy. I love that thing that they do when the wrestlers are not only charismatic, but they're Olympic trained, Greco-Roman style wrestlers. Man, I think that shit sells all day, every day. It's you have a legit badass. And not to mention, have you ever seen the Creed brothers on? Well, I get a little off the topic of the internet, but have you seen the Creed brothers on TikTok or on Instagram or anything? Bro,
no.
They Julius is
are they
hilarious. It's unbelievable. It's unmatched. And so all that, all that to say, I thought Monday really changed it for me, where Chad Gable is really a star, and I think he could potentially win. I did pick Sami just because they put the title on him, and I don't think he loses. But I don't know. I picked Sami, and I picked Bronson to take the pin. I just don't think Bronson's very good. Not very good, I shouldn't say it. I just don't think I get it anymore. I thought it was cool. I really was an indie fan of Jonah Rock and all the stuff, and I thought it was cool, but I don't know. I'm not really super into it, so I picked Sami Zayn on that one. What about you?
I think Sami is going to win it. I do think Chad will eventually. I don't see
he has to. He's never won a singles title, and if he's so
Chad
over right now, so over right
career.
Now. Yeah.
It's just I didn't see this heel turn coming either.
Yeah, not fully, and I thought it was the way that they've done the heel turn. I haven't seen that ever. I shouldn't say I haven't seen that ever. I just haven't seen anything that cool in a while where you did. I didn't see the turn. Yeah, very organic the way they do it.
They're doing a really good job with it, and the teasing with Otis, and when that blows up, that's going to be amazing.
I think so too, because now you're building a whole bunch of other storylines, man. You could bring the Creed brothers in, then they could win it. I mean, I'm not saying Chad has to win the world title, but it's a good idea to put the Intercontinental title on him, and then you've got the Creed brothers with the tag titles. There's just so much. Again, man, we've talked about this ad nauseum, is that WWE right now, from a storytelling perspective, they have so many good stories going. And, man, if Triple H is the one who signs off on all of them, man, we are blessed at this point. If he is really true the guy. I don't really know. We don't know, right? We're not in the room. I don't know if he is. But I'm assuming he has to sign off on pretty much everything. Right, and then he probably trusts his producers to produce the matches. So I would say shout out to Helms and Kenny Doane and all those guys who are doing production, Noble and those guys. But
Dude, Michael Hayes,
dude, what a great man, classic. I wish I had a cool catchphrase like that. Pretty good. All right,
well, he doesn't.
I know, but if we were Bruce, we would have this problem. Oh shoot. Okay, next up. Women's, let's go to women's Queen of the Ring. Lyra Valkyria versus either Bianca or Nia. Of course, tomorrow when you guys are watching this, you might have already seen it. Or if you're listening, we don't know because we're recording before SmackDown. So who are you picking, Queen of the Ring?
I think Nia is going to win it.
Okay.
I don't know. I just have this feeling Nia is going to win it. She beat Jade, which was a big deal, right?
I really thought, yeah.
And I don't see, if she beat Jade, I don't see her not beating Bianca, right? Because I think that'll look weird if Bianca wins, but Jade doesn't. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think Nia is going to win that, and then it's going to be Nia and Lyra, whatever the hell.
I'm here to tell you.
I know you hate her.
I don't hate her. I'd rather watch paint
You're
dry.
indifferent. You're indifferent, which is worse. Actually.
Which is worse. Exactly.
I like her. I do. I'm not gonna sit here and
in ring. incredible. But she's like not Scottish or Irish enough to be Irish. Like her accent's not that thick, so she can't even like play into that. She's just like this weird bird lady. And I'm like, man, I'm out on that. It is so bad. Just like zero charisma doesn't hit for me. I don't know. So I'm interested to see, but I do think I also believe Nia will win. I think that'll bang.
And now that they announced about the titles, which I don't know if we were going to get to that.
No, that's 100%. Yeah.
Okay, so spoiler alert. They're the winners of the King and the Queen of the Ring now are going to get a title opportunity at SummerSlam, which I believe we had also talked about on this podcast.
Yeah, well, because we thought about it. Because remember, we were talking about the Brock Lesnar thing. Brock's really the only one that worked for.
Right.
He's the only I think he's the only one who did it. Right. Who actually?
He's the only one. They only did it that 1 year.
Right.
It was the only year that they did that stipulation, and I think it's great. I'm glad that they're doing it, but that also, I think, will play a factor into it. I mean, Lyra could win, and then we could get Lyra and Becky. Which I know you'll be a huge fan for. But
man, I've never said popcorn match ever, but by God, that would be a popcorn match.
Because if I remember correctly, I think it was Becky that put Lyra over to win the title.
Exactly. Yeah. That's who Lyra beat in NXT.
Right? It was, right? Yep. When Becky had the NXT run? I thought so.
Yeah. So now you're talking about story, and I get that. Yeah, and I'm cool with that too. But at this point, that again, this is the best thing about WWE right now is there are angles that all make sense. There's a little tentacle tied to each little piece. Nothing is random, which I know in the chat, a lot of people love that. There is zero randomness in what WWE is doing right now, which is really cool. Everything is somewhat tied together. So we'll see what happens.
I'm excited for it. I think, I won't mind either way if Nia or Lyra win, or if, say, Bianca does happen to beat Nia and it's Bianca, whatever. Honestly, I'm happy with any option.
Sure.
But I think Nia is going to win. I think she needs it. I think she's been doing really good, for the last couple of months, Nia. But I think she needs something bigger.
Sure.
So I think this might be it.
We'll find out Saturday. All right. Next up, men's King of the Ring. Yeah. Tama Tonga or Randy Orton versus Gunther. And I'm going to tell you, man, I stuck with Gunther. I went with Gunther. I do think Randy wins, although I don't really see why. At this point, I'm not sure what happens. The only thing I can think of, it's a little bit out of left field, but what if Roman Reigns comes back and interferes just to prove a point to Solo of like, hey, this is my show? And like, because then I just don't see Randy Orton. And Randy Orton versus Gunther would be sick. That's going to be a cool match.
That's pretty good, yeah.
But I think Gunther versus Tama doesn't make any sense.
No.
So I had to pick. But I don't know what's going to happen with that. But I am excited to see who wins kind of between those. But it is feel weird for Tama to lose right there because now it's like you've kind of backed yourself into a corner of him losing because I don't really see him facing Gunther. I don't know. Either way. I think
something's going to happen in the match. I think Tongaloa or Solo is going to get involved. KO is going to come out.
Okay.
Blah, 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 blah. And then Orton's going to get the win after all this interference. I think that's how it's going to – something like that is going to be what goes down to get Orton.
Sure. Someone said that they saw or that they thought someone was going to come back and win the King of the Ring. And who was it? Damn, I can't remember the tweet. I saw it today, which I thought was kind of funny. It was like someone like completely random, but like made a lot of sense also. Like, damn, who was it? Maybe it might have been the Roman thing. I don't know. But either way, I'm interested to see. I do think I just think Gunther right now, man, is on a heater too. I think he really has it. And I think he can get over on top at the very top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think Gunther has all the potential to be a top guy. I really do. I mean, I think he proved that with his Intercontinental title reign. He really elevated that title.
I'm going to be honest with you, though. I can't handle any more Ludwig Kaiser.
You.
I don't know why, but I hate it too. I'm like, him like calling out Sheamus. I'm like, all right, bro, what are we doing here?
Where's Sheamus been?
Well, after the match with they took him off TV again, right after the Gunther match, and then
that's right, they beat the crap out of him, right? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes,
So I assume that he will come back and fight Ludwig, of course, at some point.
Right, yeah.
Especially with all this
it was
stuff
just weird because he just came back, so it was weird.
Right, so they're like, let's take him back off again.
Yeah,
I don't know how that works. I can't keep track. Sometimes there's those little stories that I can't keep track of where I'm like, I don't remember.
It's a lot.
How he got to that
it's a lot.
Well, with the 3 hours, right? Sometimes on Raw, I'm like, what happened there? All right. Well, that's so. Are you picking Gunther to win though?
So I was for all these weeks. Gunther was my pick, but now with them announcing about the title opportunity, I don't see Gunther and Cody at SummerSlam. I could see it at Bash at Berlin.
Sure.
I don't see it at SummerSlam. So now I'm kind of going with Orton because I think we're going to, which is a match.
Yeah, but Orton's a SmackDown, right? So we're getting Orton versus Cody. If Gunther wins, Gunther's getting Drew because he's a Raw guy. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, that's true.
So that's why I was sticking with Gunther because I don't think they're going to have a SmackDown.
I guess, right? Did they specify? They didn't specify.
They didn't specify. So I didn't. I guess I was just thinking like, oh well, the Raw guy is going to take.
Well, logically, right? But don't.
Logic's out the window in professional wrestling a long time.
Well, now it may be a little bit more than it was in the past.
Sure. But, yeah, we don't have any dead guys walking around.
There's no wild card rule. Or anything like
that. Free agent wins. That could be what it is. It could be Brock Lesnar's free agent.
So, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Orton.
Okay.
Let's go with Orton.
All right, you're sticking with Orton. I like it. All right. Last but not least, Cody versus Logan. Man, I think what they're doing with that is really cool. They've built that up in a matter of 4 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah,
they've built that.
Not even. I don't think 3 weeks. I think there was only 3 weeks between Backlash and this.
You know, the thing about the Attitude Era, right, is there were so many guys on top that each pay-per-view could rotate and the stories weren't ever disconnecting where you had to rebuild from nothing, right? Because everybody was kind of on top. And they've lacked that the past few years where you have to build immediately. But they can't really build immediately because it's hard, the way that they had it spread out and the storytelling was weird. But now in the past 2 years, they've been able to do it each month. A new feud can happen, and you don't have to do the whole, well, we've wrestled 3 times, and the first one's a regular match, the second match is a hardcore match, the third match is in a cage. Like, you don't have to do that. You can do these, like, things, and each one's a little cooler or different than each one before. And so I think Cody versus Logan's really, really cool and exciting because of that. And Logan can talk, and Cody can. I mean, obviously, right? And I think it's going to be a banger. I think they're going to hang it out there.
I really do. I mean, I think it'll be match of the night for sure. I think Randy, assuming that Randy wins,
sure.
I think Randy and Gunther could definitely, be neck and neck with Cody and.
Do you think Randy can go for 17, 18 minutes?
Oh, Randy? Oh, yeah.
Still, I think he does such a good job that it makes me think he can't. Because it looks like he's
too good.
I think
it's been one of Orton's problems his whole career.
Sure,
is he's too good.
Yeah, agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
And the problem being is that because he's so good, you don't realize how good he actually is because you just
right. That's kind of right. You're just kind of like, damn, what is happening right now?
But back to Cody and Logan. I think they're going to kill it. I mean, we said about it last week, and I think other times on the podcast. Logan Paul has no business being as good as he is, and every match he's had is something special. So I don't think we're going to see anything any different. And I'm enjoying the story that they're telling. And I do like. I know that you were a little upset in our chat about the U.S. title not being on the line anymore.
Oh, right? I mean, I thought it was. No, I actually thought it was cool. I thought the way they did it was really cool. Yes,
they're really making him
a shit heel
with that.
A shit heel. Yes.
Yeah, and then I know I'm the only one that watches this show, but on the bump on Wednesday, he did a sit-down interview with Kayla, or with Kathy Kelly, and they delved more into it and whatnot, and it just built the story even more and made him look more like.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's so cool. I mean, I hate that they're not going to do the 2 belts because I think that would have been sick, but it also didn't make any sense. So the way they did this was like so cool. I was like, damn, that's creative as shit. I was like, all right, someone needs to be getting paid more money right now because that was pretty creative. I thought. I think
that was a good move.
Yeah. I mean, I think obviously Cody goes over, but I think it's going to be
for sure.
But I think it's going to be a cool finish. I'm sure they'll do so. I'll tell you this though, if one of these stupid influencers gets outside and does some dumbass shit like I Show Speed, that will ruin it for me because it doesn't.
I didn't see the footage, but I heard that Logan gave Pat McAfee his brass knucks today on the show and said
no, not
that
Pat.
He's not going to use them?
Not Pat. It was in Jeddah. He gave it to Michael Cole, right, or somebody? Because Pat had his show. Pat's not doing it.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought I saw something with Pat McAfee and Logan Paul about it. I don't know.
No, Pat McAfee had Pat Mahomes on today.
I saw that too.
Yeah. So I don't think.
All right, I don't know. All right,
either.
so
I missed it. Yeah, I missed. But he did give his brass knucks away to either Michael Cole or Corey Graves or one of the.
Now, who knows? That doesn't mean that he doesn't have.
But it's still cool,
right?
That's what I'm saying. Like they are doing. That's like a small storytelling thing. That's like really cool that they're going to talk about. Look, no one's going to see the clip. That's fine. Or not no one, but you know what I'm saying. Like a lot of people won't see the clip, but you'll see it. Michael Cole talk about it on. It just gives them another thing to talk about, and I think.
Storytelling.
Yeah, man. I think they're doing it. Just another exceptional job with that. So, pretty good. I think those are going to be the matches, man. It's exciting.
It's going to be. I think it's going to be a good show. I think.
Yeah. I think it's going to be the best Saudi show for sure.
Have really stepped up.
Yeah.
In the beginning, they were cool because they were these dream matches, but they were like throwaway pay-per-views. But we got some.
Yeah, they were fast lane all over again.
I was going to say we got some cool stuff, but some of the stuff that was.
Well, the greatest Royal Rumble's terrible, and some of the the Taker, obviously the Taker Kane DX match was so bad.
Yeah,
but the Goldberg stuff,
Goldberg and Undertaker.
I get the point of what they were doing, and now. But with Triple H, it's like, hey, we'll still do the stuff, but we're gonna do our creative thing. We're not having this. It still has to further our storyline, right? For us to push
exactly. Which I like now.
Yeah, yeah. So that should be good. I'm excited about it. It's also at a good time. It's a matinee pay-per-view, baby. Saturday matinee.
Keeps my
Man,
Day weekend free.
Let's go. And it couldn't have. That's a perfect plan for them, right? So, exciting. All right. Well, we're gonna talk about something I know you hate talking about, but we're gonna do it anyway. And we're gonna go double or nothing. But we're not gonna talk about the whole card because there are some things on there. We're not I'm gonna
the whole card we'll be still talking till next fucking week.
I'm gonna change your nameplate to Resident AEW Hater.
I'm one of the only people that watches that damn show.
That's the crazy thing is you hate it, but you watch it every week with us. I don't understand. What's funny is that I can't. So I watch it, but most of the time it's like I watch it the next day so I can fast forward through commercials and all that stuff. Yeah. But the 2 hours is really good, and it does do a good job of going. It flies by, so I'll give him that. And
it does go fast. Their show does go fast.
And we talked about this, and I sent this in the chat as those stats. Is they've had 283 matches so far on 5 hours of television a week, and WWE's had 211. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even think it was that close. That's how much wrestling is on AEW, which is pretty cool in the long run. And I was like, but just some of the stats, I was like, damn, this is kind of wild because you think sometimes they put some people are on TV too much, some people aren't, and you're just like, but then you look at the stats of it, the actual factual information, and you're like, damn, okay. But as we've always talked about, their pay-per-views have never missed, even if they are 12 hours long. They've never missed. This one's no different, but we're only going to talk about the matches that I really care about, that's why I'm the host. So we'll start it off with first is the and I don't know why I picked this one. I know why I picked it, but the IWGP heavyweight eliminator match. It's Moxley versus Konosuke Takeshita, and I think the only reason, again, I love the IWGP. I think the title belt is terrible now. The old one's better, but Moxley as champion is really cool. But I do wish that Konosuke would win because I think Takeshita is just so good. So I'm picking Moxley, obviously, because there's no way IWGP is going to let their title change hands on someone else's pay-per-view. So do you have a pick, Konosuke?
I'm going to go with Moxley. I think Moxley is going to keep it. I don't see him losing. He just won it, right? Not that long ago?
Yeah, he won it it's like 6, maybe 50 days ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
so
it hasn't been that long.
Why take it off of him? He's one of their top guys, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing is the only problem, and this is something we talked about a lot too, is with AEW and New Japan. It's is Moxley a top New Japan guy? He's not wrestling all of your events. No. I don't really. I'll be honest with you. The cross pollination thing is cool when they can do it, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to just randomly have AEW's top guy as I don't know. And I'll tell you this, the same thing happened in WCW in 1994. They did the 93. They did the exact same thing. Masahiro Chono had the big gold belt. Then they had another belt. It was chaos constantly, and it was like not good in my opinion. So a lot of cool matches, but for a casual fan, it doesn't make any sense. So
right, you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, so that is what it is. All right, this is a fun one though. AEW TNT Championship is a barbed wire, just the most unnecessary match of all time. Barbed wire steel cage. However, we are getting Brood Edge. I can feel it. I after last night, I was like, oh, they're bringing out Gangrel for sure. He's gonna find how they can remake the song somewhat close. I'm sure, and so I think we're getting Edge, but it's Edge versus Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black, and no one has lost more matches and still been over than the House of Black. I'll be honest with you, I can't even remember a time when House of Black ever won. Like I know they were champions at some point, but like. Dude, I bet Buddy Matthews has won like maybe 2 or 3 matches his entire AEW run. Like he does not win. Like,
that's crazy.
Brody King, same situation. Like they just don't ever win. And this is a very similar thing.
That's a testament to how.
Well, because that's the thing is that they put on such great matches and their character is very unique and people love that goth thing, right?
And that's what I think it is. It's the character, right? That's what you're invested in.
Yep.
You know, them winning and losing. It's irrelevant. I mean, to a point, right? I mean, you know, there's a fine line between being a jobber and losing.
1,000%. Right.
But like you said, you don't. You know, I mean, it doesn't make a difference. You don't think any less of House of Black because they haven't.
No,
won.
I mean, I do because I just don't think that it. I don't know. I'm kind of over that whole House of Black thing too. But I also don't think Brody King. I don't know where Buddy Matthews would go from there either. I think that there would be kind of lost without the House of Black.
Oh, I definitely think
Julia Hart's done a great job by herself. Her character is really cool, and she's done a great job kind of branching and doing her own House of Black thing. So, but yeah, I don't know. Either way, I'm going with Edge winning. I don't see him losing.
Yeah, no, definitely.
All right, that's it. I'm excited to see it. I don't really like hardcore matches, but I'm excited to see the match. It should be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. The only time I know of a barbed wire steel cage match was the Big Show JBL one back in No Way Out in 2005.
Oh my gosh, that's what a terror! But the barbed wire was just on the top of the cage, right?
It was just on the top. I don't know how they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing it either. I mean, it's some FMW type shit probably. Yeah. All right, next one. AEW International Championship: Roddy Strong versus Billy Goat, Will Ospreay. I love Roderick Strong. I have been a Roderick Strong fan since he used to wear pants back in ROH. I do think he loses, though. I just don't see how I mean, Will Ospreay's not going to lose, obviously. I don't think.
You can't.
Right, at this point.
To have him lose a match like that already? That'd be,
which is crazy, though, because Roddy really just won the title, too. So,
yeah.
It's kind of interesting. They may do a schmaz finish of some sort. Maybe Adam Cole's ankles finally heal. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, what? Didn't he come back? I thought he came back. He got out of the chair.
Yeah, but he's still in a boot though. He can't. Yeah, he can't actually rest. He can't work.
Okay.
Yeah, he can't work.
Yeah,
which is crazy. You know, because
his whole run has been
so. I'll tell you, it has been. And you know what's so funny though is we were talking about just earlier about MJF. Has anyone gotten paid more money to work less than MJF in AEW? He's been gone dude, he's only there for like 3 months at a time. He's been gone first his title run, then he was gone, right?
Right.
Before that, he was gone with the whole dispute contract thing, right? The kayfabe deal.
Yeah. For
like 7 months, 6 months, right? So
he was gone quite a while, right?
My dude has gotten paid more money than anyone does less work. Adam Cole may be the only other person because he's just been hurt the whole time. Unfortunately for Adam Cole.
It's terrible, but if you take the amount of months that he's been in AEW, which will be 3 years in September.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's 36 months. And I'm sure out of those 36 months, he probably has been able to wrestle maybe 6 of them.
Yeah, which is crazy to think about. That's unbelievable. It's really sad.
It's sad. I love Adam Cole.
Same. We talked about that. We talked about that with the NXT title thing. Yeah, good one. All right, these last, we're just going to go through, I'm not going to go through all the women's championship, but we're going to go through the first one. Mercedes versus Willow. I don't know how much you've seen of it. I mean, I thought the Dr. Bomb last week was really awesome with Willow. That made me just like, I wish they would have done the Dr. Bomb spot this week because it really got me hyped for the match. Now this week I'm
Did they do anything this week? I didn't remember seeing any segment with them last night.
No, I think it's on Rampage probably. More than likely. It's probably on Rampage. Or something like that. Yeah. That more people watch the pod than Rampage, is that what you're saying? Man, what a time. Damn, Tony. Holler at me if you need some help, baby, on Rampage. I can help you out. He's in a tough spot, man. Friday nights, that's a tough spot.
At 10. Friday nights at 10.
Yeah. So do you think Mercedes is going over then?
Yeah, definitely. She better. Shit. It's her first match in AEW.
That's kind of my thought, too, is like I think she kind of has to, right? Which sucks for Willow because she just won the title.
I know.
So that's the thing is they put these matches together. That's part of the problem that I think they face too is that it's like there's not a need for constant change, but they do have losses that matter for people that they take those L's and it's like, damn, they took that L. That sucked. You know what I mean? Already. So,
yeah.
All right, last one. Well, I'm not even going to talk about the Christian Cage Swerve thing because if they have Swerve lose, I'll be done. But the Anarchy in the Arena, are you excited about that at all?
You know, I will say it's a fun match. It's just chaos, right?
Yeah, man, and that's the thing is like I hate it. I just think it's so dumb. It's cool like the first 2 times. I'm like whatever.
I think the playing of the music, it gets a little. It's cool for like a minute.
Yeah,
and then it's like, wow, they're still playing this fucking song.
It was really cool. Look, that's a New Jack thing, and that was awesome, right? And ECW was really cool.
Yes.
New Jack, but his matches lasted like 270 seconds total. So
right,
like,
this was going on for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, oh my god. So, but I do think
I never heard Wild Thing so much in my life.
I know, right? You're just like, why is this still happening? I do hope the Elite wins. I could have done without seeing Darby Allin again. Like. You guys don't.
What about Darby Allin with a flamethrower?
Yeah, whatever. Okay, cool, bro. For what? Is he gonna light someone on fire? Is it an Inferno match now?
I'm all for crazy shit.
Yeah,
but the flamethrower was a little excessive.
Just like kind of silly, right? Like, why do we need that?
That was a little bit like Fonzie jumping the shark.
Oh, yeah, 1,000%. That's where I'm like, realistically, I just don't get it, man. I'm like. I get the Darby Allin thing and his matches or whatever, but like overall, I'm kind of like, go home for a while, learn a new hold type of thing. Like, go home. You got hit by a bus. You broke your foot before you could climb Mount Kilimanjaro or whatever you were doing.
Why are you not home right
now? Go
now?
home. Go home. They don't go home. Y'all couldn't find anybody else to work with y'all. Go home. So I don't know, man. We're AEW Double or Nothing though. We're gonna watch it. I do know that. So. We'll see what happens, man.
I'm sure it'll be a good show.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna be as I'm reading. It's funny because as I'm reading through this, right? Like I'm looking at the match listing here. These matches are really good on paper. But like the FTW Championship match, Jericho Hook versus Shibata. Shibata's really, really clicking right now with his shtick. It's kind of funny. It's like the Tozawa thing where it's like he has one thing, but Shibata also is like maybe one of the best wrestlers that a lot of people don't know about. But like, why? Why are we doing that match? Hook is terrible on the microphone. Hook is so bad. He's presented terrible. It's so bad. I hate it. I'm like, this is not good. And I'm pretty open-minded. I feel like I'm unbiased. I watch everything, and it's bad.
I liked Hook in the beginning.
Because it was cool.
When he debuted. I think the fact that he didn't talk.
He needs a mouthpiece more than anybody. Maybe as bad as Claudio. Look, I'm a big Claudio guy. Claudio. Oh, yeah. I'm a huge Claudio guy. I love Castagnoli, but like nobody needs a mouthpiece more than him, except maybe Hook. It is terrible, dude.
Hell, I don't know why you don't put Taz with him. I mean, a father and son duo.
I don't see how that doesn't work. I don't see how it doesn't work.
Which is funny because Taz never really spoke much back in the day, right?
But he can talk, right?
As we've seen, he's been doing commentary for
25 years.
Yeah.
So crazy to think.
I think that would have been. I mean, he's part of the storyline a little bit, right?
But that's the thing, man. It's like I'm kind of over the Jericho thing too. It's like,
well, that's a whole nother.
That's what I'm saying. There's just a few matches where I'm kind of like, all right, bro, I get it. It is what it is. Typical AEW, but I do think at the top they're making like I said, I think directionally, as I mentioned last week, they are moving in a positive direction with their stories, but this makes it hard because it's almost like a reset, because you're going to have that women's title is going to change hands, right? I mean, it's going to be Mercedes. So you're working on that one. Copeland and all that stuff, but you've got to, now where do you go from, the next thing? And so I don't know. We'll see what happens. But AEW Sunday, it's 2 pay-per-views in one weekend, man. Gosh, man, we are blessed as wrestling fans, honestly, though.
Yeah, we're eating good.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought. All right, well, this next one is the Randomizer, where I pick a random topic from my bag of tricks. And this one's kind of fun. I came up with it as we were chatting, and the Owen Hart thing kind of triggered it, and the Velveteen Dream thing this morning. The biggest what-if wrestler, not moment, but just wrestler. Biggest what-if wrestler for you, meaning, man, if he would have done this, or if he would have lived longer, or if he would have signed here, or if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, whatever it may be. Biggest what-if wrestler specific for you.
Well, that's a really good question.
Thank you. I worked really hard on that.
Velveteen Dream is one that I think could have been. I don't know though how well he would have translated onto the main roster. So I don't know. I'm not saying he wouldn't have. I just don't know that he would have.
It's a hard one.
It is a hard,
because it kind of ranges, right? There's a long range too of years. And I'll tell you, I will tell you mine. And I think the biggest what if for me is potentially is Scott Hall. Had Scott Hall not been, had he not had his demons, right? He was a star, if you think about it. And he was on top, right, with the Outsiders as Razor. But he never won a world title anywhere. No. And I don't care what anybody says when they say you don't need the title. Everybody gets into professional wrestling to win a world title. Right. And so for me, one of the biggest what-ifs is Scott Hall. Just like, what if he hadn't developed that issue, and what if they hadn't presented him as a drunk on TV and WCW? Like, what if, you know what I mean? Like, he went to TNA and he ended up floundering out because he couldn't keep it together. He no-showed and things like you trying to tell me he couldn't have been the NWA world like him and Jarrett on top of TNA? Come on, I don't see how that doesn't work. Things like that, man. WWE run was pretty bad the second time around. I mean, yes, he did face Austin, but that's not what Austin wanted. Just a lot of things like that. So he's my biggest what if, in the sense of what if he would have kept it together. From that perspective, man. Sad that he passed away too, because he was such a great guy. I mean, he was actually, even with his demons, he was still like one of the nicest human beings in professional wrestling you always hear about. Just a great guy overall, and the things that he did for. I know that when he would go to AEW and stuff, he would talk to the other wrestlers and the young guys, and he would work with them and things like that. But he had to spend the later years of his life trying to get it together, which is tough. Really sad to think about. So I think for me, the Owen Hart thing triggered it this morning, and I was like, man, I think. What if? So, what if Scott Hall, wouldn't have succumbed to his demons?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great example. I think you could say kind of the same thing with Eddie Guerrero, even though he had cleaned himself up and everything like that. But,
sure.
Damage had kind of been done, and he died so young. He had been the champion and all that, and had that run. But, what would have been, how much longer would have he gone, if he didn't pass away so suddenly and so young, how long would have he wrestled? What, can you imagine Eddie Guerrero with the crop of wrestlers that's been coming up the last 10 years? You know what I mean?
Man, yeah.
Could he still go? Now, I think he could still go. He'd be pushing 50,
Yeah. How old did he pass away? He's 38.
He'd be in his mid-50s.
He was 38 when he passed away?
Yeah.
And so he'd be 54, 55, right?
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sad.
Actually, well, yeah.
Right?
Whatever. He'd be in his 50s.
Yeah.
At some point. But, I mean, he would definitely obviously not be a full-time performer, but he could come back. He could have come back once in a while, So I think you could look at that as a what-if. But honestly, to me, if I was thinking originally more along the terms of guys that didn't make it.
Oh,
right?
both. Yeah, it could be any of them. Yeah,
right?
Both. But yeah.
But to your point with Scott Hall, totally different. But I think this is potentially the biggest what if and that is if Stone Cold didn't break his neck.
I was gonna say that, and I was like, he still was a megastar. So I was
because yes,
he
exactly,
retired at 38.
I wasn't
right?
gonna mention that at all because he's had probably the best run out of anybody.
Yeah,
but it was so short-lived because he had. Can you?
Everything he did after, because he retired so young, everything he did after was not wrestling impactful. Crazy to think about. He wasn't in a match. Everything he did since retiring has been authoritarian.
And we're talking 20 years.
Crazy. That is a great
and
what
he's
if.
Still just as like
over.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
So can you imagine?
Oh yeah.
If he's the biggest star of all time and he wrestled finally,
sure.
2 years ago,
you're right.
Yep. Right. But beyond that, 19 years, right? It was. And he's like still the biggest star in the history of I don't care what anybody says, Stone Cold Steve Austin's the measuring stick.
Yeah, sure.
I refuse to not believe, whatever. So can you imagine if his run was longer?
Can't.
How big he would be?
Can't even. I can't.
So you could say that as
I realistically think that WWE would have never had a slowdown in the 2000s, right? Because they had a little bit of a slowdown.
But don't forget, they lost within a matter of a year or two. They lost Mick Foley, they lost The Rock, and they lost Austin.
Yep,
they're three biggest guys.
Yep,
right.
Crazy.
So that's
pretty wild. Pretty wild. Yeah, I thought the what if was a good one, man. I thought that was kind of an interesting topic. All right, well, with that being said, you know what time it is, baby. It is trivia time, and you call yourself a fan. All right, we're back. You guys know the rules, Freddie. 1 point for each answered question. I've pulled it from my random generated here at the WWF trivia box here, and it only gets better every week. I feel like, man, there's some great ones in here. So with that being said, the questions are: at the October 1995 In Your House, who did Triple H battle? Duke the Dumpster, Marty Jannetty, or Fatu?
October 95?
October of 95.
I'm going with Duke the Dumpster.
I am also going to go Duke the Dumpster. Oh, damn, we are both wrong. And it was Fatu, and it's the last time that he was Fatu.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he goes from being the good guy, like, what did they call that one?
The streets and shit?
Yeah, the good vibe, whatever, Fatu. I should have known that. Dang. Because he came back as the Sheik after that. Or as, not Sheik, Sultan.
They just came out with a Sultan figure, actually.
I know, dude. It's sick, too. It's pretty cool.
It is cool,
yeah. All right, at the 1994 Survivor Series, the tag team champs were Shawn and Diesel, the Smoking Guns, or the Quebecers. I'm going to go with 94 Survivor Series, so I'm going to go Quebecers.
That's what I'm going with.
Oh, man, we are 0 for 2 today.
Is it the Smoking Guns?
I was thinking Shawn and Diesel.
Oh, really? That was the one I was not
I was thinking they were early 95. I thought they won it.
That's what I thought.
But, yeah, okay. They couldn't have won it in 95 because they'd already broken up. Now that we're dumb. We should have thought about that because they broke up. Because
leading up to the Rumble.
Yeah, because he wins the Rumble. Shawn wins the Rumble.
They do Shawn and Diesel at
Mania.
At Mania.
Exactly.
But then why did I think they got back together?
Oh, man, we were 0 for 2. After going 5 for 5 last week, you were really on a heater.
Yeah, shit.
All right, at the 1990 SummerSlam, who were the Hart Foundation's opponents? Natural Disasters, Demolition, or Orient Express?
Oof. Boy. 1990. It could be any of them. I'm going to go with Orient Express.
All right, I'm going to go Demolition. It is Demolition.
And
I'll tell you why. So I remember last week we were talking about my favorite match. I was going to say that tag match because I had it on VHS, so I watched it like so many times.
Demolition and Heart
Foundation.
Foundation.
I love that one. It's a really good one. The Heart Attack. All right, at WrestleMania 3, Ricky Steamboat was accompanied by whom? Ricky Steamboat.
I know.
He came out with his kid, right?
George the Animal Steel.
Oh, George was with him. That's right, because him and Macho Man were beefing still. I forgot. You're right. Good answer. You got it, George Steele.
I redeemed myself.
You did. You got that one.
The Redeemer.
The Redeemer. That's a great. I wish Miro was better. He
could be a what if.
Oh, this is a good one. Who is the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion before Gunther, of course?
He's just a honky tonk man. Just a honky tonk man.
I'm cool. I'm cocky. I'm bad. That's it, man. We both got that one. I love it. That was a good one too. What a
honky tonk man. Remember with Santino? He had the honkometer. The honky tonk man was Intercontinental Champion.
Think about saying that to someone though. Think about I always laugh at the graphic every time they show Gunther's reign. It's like Gunther, the honky tonk.
They had to beat that record.
Just asinine honky tonk, man. Oh my god! I don't know that I've ever saw him actually hit the shake, rattle, and roll on anyone other than a jobber. I don't know if he actually ever hit the shake, rattle, and roll
Probably
on anyone else.
Probably not.
Oh, that's good stuff.
It's amazing though how but you think about how over he was, right?
Oh yeah.
Regardless, right? It is what it is. We laugh now, but how over he. Can you imagine if that motherfucker came out on TV on Monday? People would be like, "What the fuck is this?"
That's not Elias. What's happening?
Exactly.
Oh, it's good. All right.
It's Elijah.
I'm never gonna get over that. That's so good. All right. One has to go where I pick 4 of the best scenarios, 4 of the best wrestlers, 4 of the best gimmicks, 4 of the best pay-per-views, and one of them ceases to exist. And this one I saw on Twitter today, and I thought it was pretty cool. So, returns. Top 4 returns. One of them has to go in the top left. It is the American Badass at Judgment Day. And the top right, it is John Cena at Royal Rumble in the Garden. Bottom left is Edge at Royal Rumble in Houston. And bottom right is CM Punk at Survivor Series. One has to go. Freddie. Best returns, man. I thought this was a good one.
So I got to pick one.
You got to. It never exists. And those returns, man, those are all epic.
I can't pick Undertaker, obviously.
Well, right. Well, I mean, yeah.
And I was there for Cena, and I was there for Punk. And the Edge one is just, I mean.
I was gonna put Triple H in there, and I was like, we'd all get rid of Triple H's return because he returned so many times from a torn oblique or whatever.
I'm gonna have to. Oh, fuck. I want to pick Edge because fuck him, but
honestly, Cope, man.
But I think I got to go with Cena. It was crazy because he had no business coming back at that quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Cena. I not happy with my decision, but
okay.
I have no choice. So.
Wow, going with the Cena one. All right.
And I love that moment. That's one of my favorite things I've ever seen live.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with Edge, and I'll tell you why. I thought that I wasn't watching pay-per-views when Cena returned. So I didn't order those. I was junior in high school area, right? That was what year did he come out? 06?
Oh wait.
Oh, so I was in college at this point. So I definitely wasn't I couldn't afford pay-per-view. I could barely afford the pizza that place I worked at. So that, to me, rewatching it now, I've watched it a bunch, right? Because 08 was just awesome, such a great band, unbelievable. In the Garden, I love that I love the entrance cam. That's one of my favorite cam. I wish.
I love it.
I wish hard cam was on the entrance, but
I missed that about the Garden. They redid the Garden, over the last 10 years. They transformed it, and they don't have that anymore. Which kind of sucks.
So I love the Cena one. The American Badass. Honestly, the reason I'm keeping that is because he came back as that character. He had debuted it before he left, right? Supposedly, kind of. If you look at from what I mean, depending,
he was like a very mixed.
Sure.
I wouldn't call it American Badass, but he was definitely a little more.
Yeah.
Realistic,
sure.
Like the last appearance he had, or
before, right? So I did think that was cool. And of course the CM Punk thing. I mean, we're on FaceTime as grown adults, flipping, losing our shit. And you're there live. And the Edge thing though is maybe the reason that was the loudest pop I remembered watching live. in a long time. Like, I was like, holy shit.
Oh, yeah. We were, I mean, I wish I was there for that.
Yeah.
I should have gone to that.
Unbelievable. So, but the other three are iconic, and I had to get rid of one, so sorry, Cope.
Yeah.
Tough sledding there. But nah, man, that was a good one. One has to go. Pretty good. I picked those. Well, it's been another week, Freddie. We had a one-on-one competition. I'll let you be the champ. You beat me today because I was.
What a gracious host.
What can I say, man? You know, I'm here for the people. Look, I put the butts in seats, baby. You can thank me for the house when you leave. Nah, man. Anything else you want to say before we head out?
Not much, man. I'm excited for this weekend for Queen and King of the Ring, King and Queen of the Ring, whatever. I guess I'll say I'm excited for Double or Nothing, even though I don't want to lie on the podcast, but it'll be a show.
I can't wait to put that on your tombstone. Avid AEW fan.
And it's gonna be a good time. Memorial Day weekend. Looking forward to it. So
heck yeah. Well, thank you so much as always for joining me, man. I do appreciate it. Freddie Fresh, the Ticket God, is on Fred's Revenge Tour this weekend. So, if you're in Asbury Park, watch out for that. He might hit you with it. He might hit
18
you with
to 28. No husbands, no boyfriends.
Oh, shout out
as the Nature Boy used to say.
The Nature Boy, Freddie Fresh, man. I love that. But thanks for joining us, man. If you're watching live on Twitch, we appreciate you. If you're watching this live on YouTube, thank you guys. And if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, I appreciate it. This is Around the Mat. I am PJ North. That's the Ticket God Freddie Fresh. And until next time when we go Around the Mat.